Association?
Yes. There is a question from my wife. What is سؤالك؟
هل المهدي انعرف ازاي هو المهدي والمسيح؟
How did the promised Messiah and Mahdi, she says, discover that he is the Messiah and Mahdi?
You see, if one invents things from himself, then there is no question of any discovery involved. You make a decision and announce it. But if it is an appointment by Allah, then the discovery can only be made if God speaks to someone and tells him that you are that, I have appointed you. So there is no other way. If there is just a feeling, that feeling could be the result of madness or some psychological diseases. It has to be a very clear-cut message from Allah in which there should be no ambiguity. And that is exactly what happened in the case of Hazrat Messiah. You know, he too, as other scholars believe that Jesus Christ was live, bodily taken up in heaven somewhere, and he's still awaiting his return. That was because he had inherited this view. Sometimes you inherit something and you never question it consciously. You know, you're not awakened to the reality that this is absurd. So he continued to believe until God told him that Jesus Christ is dead, and I have made you Christ in his name and his character. That was the most, jolting experience. He was shaken out of this lethargy, of believing in what he had heard. And then when he studied the Quran in the new light, he was surprised how ever could he miss these messages spread all over the Quran. So this is what is happening to the other ulama nowadays. Awakened. They're shaken out of this lethargic attitude which one inherits psychologically from generations after generation. Unless one is shaken up, new light does not appear, new angle does not, one does not see things from a new angle. And once the angle is changed, then immediately everything becomes so clear. That is what happened to him with regard to his claim to be the Messiah. But his first claim was that of Mahdi. When he created Jamaat Ahmadiyya as such, initiated it, and the first bath was taken. That was in March, 23rd of March, 1889. Now this was based on his claim that he was Mahdi. For Mahdi, in fact, there was no real difficulty, because Mahdi could be anyone, and people before him had claimed to be Mahdis, because Mahdi does not have to descend from heaven. So anyone could make a claim. So did he, when Allah told him. But I think I've taken too long. I'll answer the part of the question after you have translated, please.
السؤال هو كيف عرف سيدنا الإمام المهدي والمسيح الموعود أنه الإمام المهدي والمسيح الموعود؟ يجيب أمير المؤمنين على هذا السؤال فيقول أنه إذا كان الأمر منبعثا من نفس الإنسان، كأن يكون عنده هذا التوهم أو يكون بسبب مرض نفساني أو بعض الأشياء التي تصيب نفس الإنسان، فإنه يقرر ويدعي ويقول أنا فلان أو فلان. ولكن إذا كان الأمر من عند الله فلا يمكن أن يتم إلا بحديث مباشر من الله سبحانه وتعالى إلى الشخص، وليس في هذا الحديث أي غموض أو أي حيرة، وإنما يكون واضحا وضوحا تاما. وهذا ما حدث بالنسبة للإمام المهدي والمسيح الموعود، فقد أخبره الله تعالى أنك أنت المسيح. كان هو ككل المسلمين يعتقد أن المسيح ابن مريم موجود في السماء وأنه سينزل فيما بعد، وهذه العقيدة ورثها من كل المسلمين في ذلك الوقت، ولم يعطيها التفكير العميق، لأنه لم يكن هناك ما يثير هذا. ولكن عندما جاءه هذا الكلام الإلهي أو جاءه هذا الإلهام والوحي الإلهي فإنه هزه هزة عميقة. فعندما بحث القرآن ودرسه تعجب وقال: ما هذا؟ كيف تفوت علينا مثل هذه الأمور؟ إن وفاة سيدنا عيسى واضحة في القرآن وموجودة في كثير من الآيات. وعندئذ أيقن وعرف أنه المسيح الموعود، وأن الله سبحانه وتعالى أقامه باسمه وبروحه ومهمته. أما عندما أنشأ وأقام الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية فإنه أنشأها بصفته الإمام المهدي، وهذه نسبيا مسألة أبسط، لأن أي إنسان يستطيع أن يقول أنا الإمام المهدي، لأن الإمام المهدي لن ينزل من السماء كما كان يظن الناس بالنسبة للمسيح الموعود. وكان هناك من ادعى أنه الإمام المهدي، ولكنه قال أنا الإمام المهدي بعد أن أخبره الله تعالى أنه الإمام المهدي. فأنشأ الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية بهذه الصفة في 23 من مارس عام 1889. But how did Allah told you?
As far as the Imam Mahdi, claim to the Mahdi is concerned, he was told clearly in his ilham, and that is why all the ulama flared up and they highly questioned that claim. They said, you are a false man, we don't believe you to be the Imam Mahdi. And this debate was continued until 1894. And imagine, he claimed to be the Imam Mahdi in 1889. And then he claimed the whole world of ulama erupted like volcano. And they said, you're a liar, you're a false man, we don't believe in that, and so on and so forth. Until in 1890, instead of withdrawing his claim, he said, you cannot digest my claim to be the Mahdi. God has also told me that I am Messiah and Mahdi. That was the end of it. There was a furor in the whole of the Muslim world, and they said, look, the man, he's gone mad. He says he's Mahdi, and also he claims that he is Messiah and Mahdi. While Masih ibn Maryam is alive somewhere in the heaven, and he is to descend bodily from the heaven. Now, this process was very rapid. Before he made the Jamaat, he had not made the claim to be the Messiah. But Imam Mahdi he was, because it was very clearly stated to him, and in Brahim long before it was said that God would give you two signs. That is the signs of the moon and the sun. But when when he was told that he was Messiah, that was the most difficult period of his life. Because he believed that Messiah was a prophet of Allah. And he was an ordinary follower of Hazrat Muhammad in his ummah. How could an ordinary ummati be the Messiah? That was his mental struggle, which kept him so distressed and, with such, sometimes he suffered in pain as to what was happening. He writes about it himself. He says, there was a long period when I suffered quietly. I knew it was a revelation from God, and I couldn't understand myself to be the Messiah. So what I did Ta'weel. I said, a sort of Messiah. So that's what people call anybody who cures somebody miraculously that he is a Messiah. So it is just a title. I couldn't be that Messiah which was promised. Then he writes at one place that the wahi of Allah started coming like rain, where you can't deny anything. He said, you are the Messiah, go ahead and do it, I'm with you. So it was in 1890-91 that he added to this claim of Mahdiyyah that he is also Messiah al-Mahdi. Now, that was the end all for this negotiations and friendship with all the ulama of Islam. They said, now, as they say, هذا فراق بين وبينكم. So, all right, God is with me. He says, I'm with you. If you're not with me, I didn't care. But ulama at that time did not demand any sign as far as Messiah is concerned, because they thought they could prove it from the Quran as they understood. That Messiah is in heaven and this man is born here on earth, he could not be the same Messiah. They thought this was quite enough. But about Mahdi, they continued to harass him and demand from him the sign of the heavens, the eclipse of the sun, the eclipse of the moon, during the Ramadan, during such and such days. So if you are true, produce that. And they knew that no man has any access to the heavenly bodies. So he prayed and prayed and prayed until in 1894 that happened which the ulama thought was impossible to happen. In the Ramadan, the moon got eclipsed on the first hour of its eclipse nights, the 13th of the month. And when it happened, then people from all over India, Ahmadis, who knew this was a sign, this is going to be a sign, started rushing towards Qadiani to see if in the same month, or let's say when in the same month, the sun would also get eclipsed according to the prophecy. So, 28th was the day, according to the prophecy, when the sun was to be, because sun gets eclipsed on 27th, 28th, 29th, and the prophecy was that middle of the days, middle of the day, which is 28th. So they knew precisely what was going to happen. And arrangements were made on the top of the mosque Mubarak, Masjid Mubarak is the name, and they were waiting. Everybody was excited to see when the second part of the sign from Allah would appear. And at about 9 o'clock, while they were all sitting together at the top of the mosque, a man rushed and said, the moon is eclipsed, the sun is eclipsed, the sun is eclipsed. He kept shouting and running, and then they all got up and then saw, and it was the beginning of the eclipse. Yet it was not yet full. And they were expecting the sign to be so powerful and strong that the whole moon should be eclipsed, the whole sun should be eclipsed. And lo, within 2 hours, an hour and a half, the entire sun got eclipsed. Imagine their state of mind. So, not only was he told by Allah, but Allah supported him with heavenly signs, which were beyond the power of any human being. So to claim to be a Messiah is something else, to show the signs is quite a different story. But these signs were related to Messiah, not Messiahhood, but to Mahdi. So let's turn back to Mahdi. He then challenged all the ulama, what is your reason now, what is your excuse? Come and believe. But as far as the Messiah is concerned, is being Messiah and Mahdi, this was debated continuously. About Mahdiyat, they were nonplussed, so they avoided the issue. You see, in all their discussions, our sense, it is not the Mahdiyat which is highlighted by the ulama. They know that they have such a weak point there that they will be cornered and completely nonplussed. So they avoid it, bypass it, and reach Messiah through some verses of the Holy Quran. But mainly, not with the verses of the Quran, with the superstitious views about Messiah, the first Messiah, which they had inherited from medieval generations, not from the Prophet. Hazrat had never said that Messiah was never put to cross. He never said that. He never said that he was taken bodily to the heaven and instead some Jew was given the shape of Messiah and he was put. He never said that. I don't know where they got this, fairy tale form. And they because again, it was inherited by them through generations, so they did believe in that, and this is what they repeatedly said again and again and again. The Messiah is in the heaven, you are here, how could you be the Messiah? And Hazrat Messiah presented 30 verses of the Quran, plus many verses of the New Testament, plus historical evidence, until that generation of ulama gradually began. The next generation became so awe-stricken because of the overwhelming arguments of them, that they ultimately dropped this issue as if it was not an issue at all. So they started with Mahdiyyat, ended up with Messiahhood, and kicked a lot of shindy and raised such huge hue and cry in the beginning. But as the century progressed, their voices were silenced. Now they don't take up it as an issue at all. Unbelievable. Imagine, read the literature of those days, and now they're completely silenced as if it doesn't make any difference whatsoever whether Messiah is alive or dead. You know, they say something in English I don't want to repeat, but they care a fig for that, let's say. Why? Because they know if they go into debate with Ahmadis, they'll be roundly beaten, and the Quran will support them. So ultimate inner crookedness is that they have decided not to believe. Even if they have to reject Quran, even if they reject Hadith, they say all like these things are unimportant, our forefathers were stupid, they started giving it unnecessary emphasis. No Mahdi, no Messiah. So this is the practical state. And even Jamia Azhar has issued the edict that Messiah is dead. Shaltut, what was his name?
Yes,
Mahmud Shaltut, the rector of Jamia Azhar, he issued the edict. Now we have definitely found out from the Quran. Not only he, there are so many other Muslim scholars now which have openly declared that Messiah is dead. Old Messiah is dead. When you talk of the new Messiah to come in his image, they keep quiet. They say, well, he is dead and no more will come. So this is the state of affairs. That is how he was told, and how Allah, following that revelation, gave him a host of arguments to support the claim. It's not just a case of a mental person who believes that he is something. Because he can't concoct arguments, he can't create heavenly evidence in his favor. That is the full answer, I hope, to your question.
So I hope I can translate all of this.
That's excellent.
But every word is precious and should be explained to the people. Okay. يتحدث أمير المؤمنين عن كيف أن سيدنا الإمام المهدي عرف أنه الإمام المهدي والمسيح الموعود. قال أن موضوع الإمام المهدي كان أسهل نسبيا من قضية المسيح، فقد تلقى حضرته الوحي منذ أن كان يعد البراهين الأحمدية، وكان هذا الوحي يخبره أن الله سوف يؤيده بآيتين من السماء كما ورد في أحاديث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. ولذلك عندما أسس الجماعة الإسلامية الأحمدية أسسها على أنه هو الإمام المهدي، وقد قامت ضده كثير من الشغب من العلماء والمعارضة، لأنه قال أنه تلقى الوحي بأنه الإمام المهدي. ليست المسألة ادعاء من عنده أو كما فعل غيره من الناس، وإنما الله سبحانه وتعالى هو الذي ألهمه وأوحى إليه أنه الإمام المهدي، وهذا ما أثار العلماء ضده. وتفاقمت القضية بعد ذلك عندما ادعى أنه المسيح الموعود، لأنهم إذا كانوا لم يقبلوا بالإمام المهدي والوحي الذي ادعى على أساسه أنه الإمام المهدي، القضية الآن أصبحت معقدة، لأن المسيح هم يعتقدون أنه نبي ولا يتصورون أن النبوة تأتي بعد ذلك. على أي حال، لقد تعرض سيدنا الإمام المهدي إلى كثير من الضغوط النفسية والقلق والضيق بسبب، وكانت محنة يمر بها وألم يمر به عندما تلقى الوحي بأنه هو المسيح الموعود، لأنه كان في الأصل يعتقد أن المسيح الموعود في السماء كغيره، ولأن كل العلماء يقولون ذلك، ولأنه هو خادم مخلص للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم، ولا يتصور أن أحد خدام النبي يصل إلى مرتبة النبوة كما يعرف الناس. ولكن الوحي تواتر إليه بعد ذلك. هو حاول أن يفسر الوحي بأنه المسيح بطريقة التمثيل، فقال أن كما يطلق على الإنسان الصالح أو الإنسان الذي يشفي المرضى أنه المسيح، فربما هذا على سبيل المجاز. ولكن الوحي تواتر بعد ذلك وأكد له أنه هو المسيح المقصود، هو المسيح الموعود الذي تحدث عنه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم والذي أخبر بمجيئه من بعده. فكان عليه أن يطيع وأن يعلن وأن يرى الأمر من وجهة نظر أخرى، ويطلع على القرآن ويفهم تعاليم القرآن، وتأكد أنه فعلا هو المسيح الموعود وأن الوحي الذي يتلقاه وحي صادق. ولذلك تحدى العلماء ووقف أمامهم وقفة قوية، وثبت على عقيدته أنه هو الإمام المهدي وأنه المسيح الموعود. على أي حال العلماء لم يكونوا يطالبونه بأدلة تثبت أنه المسيح، أنهم يعتقدون أن القرآن فيه الكفاية بحسب فهمهم أن المسيح في السماء، وهذه القضية في ثابتة من وجهة نظرهم. ولكن كان الجدال يدور كثيرا حول أنه الإمام المهدي. على أي حال المسيح الموعود أعلن أو بدأ الوحي إليه بأنه الإمام المهدي حوالي عام 1884، وأعلن المهدوية عندما أسس الجماعة الأحمدية عام 1809.
The Rizal Kasira was also regarding Messiah, but of two types. Rizal regarding Mahdi was asking for signs, and Rizal regarding Messiah was through arguments.
فتلقى الوحي عن أنه المهدي عام 1884، وأسس الجماعة عام 1889 على أساس أنه الإمام المهدي. وفي عام 1890 بدأ يتلقى الوحي عن أنه المسيح الموعود، وهنا جاءت المحنة الشديدة التي مر بها، لأن القضية أكبر كثيرا من قضية المهدوية. ولكن أيضا عندما تواتر عليه الوحي وأكد له أنه هو المسيح الموعود، أعلن عام 1891 أنه فعلا المسيح، ووقف أمام العلماء وأيده الله بكثير من الحجج القرآنية، أكثر من 30 آية من القرآن وآيات أخرى من التوراة ومن الإنجيل ومن الكتب السماوية السابقة تبين وتؤكد أنه فعلا هو المسيح الموعود. كان الجدل مسيحيته جدل مسيحي يعتمد على الحجج والأدلة والبراهين. أما فيما يتعلق بدعواه بالمهدوية كانوا يطالبونه بالآية السماوية الواردة في كتب الحديث، فكان يدعو إلى الله قد أخبره أنه سيؤيده بهذه الآية، ولكنه كان يتعجلها، فكان يدعو إلى الله أن يبين له هذه الآية. والآية هي آية خسوف القمر وكسوف الشمس، وقد بدأ تحققها في عام 1894 في شهر رمضان، في شهر مارس وشهر إبريل. ففي 13 من شهر رمضان ظهر خسوف القمر. الناس عندما رأوا هذه الظاهرة أسرعوا إلى قاديان وانتظروا حتى يروا الجزء الثاني من الآية وهو كسوف الشمس. وأعدت الاستعدادات لمراقبة الشمس يوم 28 من شهر رمضان فوق المسجد المبارك، والكل يترقب هل سيحدث الكسوف أم لا. وقد تم فعلا رؤية الكسوف، وكان كسوفا حلقيا كليا واستمر لمدة طويلة، وشاهد الجميع هذه الآية، فثبت أنه أيضا الإمام المهدي. العلماء في ذلك الوقت بعد أن تبينت كل هذه الآيات البينة والحجج القوية التي أبداها فيما يتعلق بالمسيحية، أيضا همدت مقاومتهم بعض الشيء، ولكن الجيل الثاني من العلماء اتبع طريقة أخرى، أنه توقف عن البحث في هذه الأمور صراحة، لأن الدخول في جدل حول هذا الموضوع يكون فيه خسارة لهم، لأن الأدلة واضحة وقوية، فبدأوا يتجاهلوا الموضوع ويكتمونه، وادعى بعضهم أنه لا داعي لأن يكون هناك مهدي أو يكون هناك مسيح، يكفي أن يكون هناك العلماء. وحتى وقتنا هذا الشيخ شلتوت رحمه الله أفتى بأن الإيمان بأن المسيح ليس في السماء وأنه مات هذا شيء صحيح وليس ولا غبار عليه، وكثير أيضا من العلماء توقفوا عن بحث هذه النقطة، فكأنهم أيقنوا بأنه لا يستطيعون إثبات أن المسيح موجود في السماء، لأن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم لم يعلن قط أن سيدنا عيسى رفع إلى السماء بجسده، أو أنه لم يوضع على الصليب لإجراء عملية الصلب، والقرآن لم يذكر ذلك أيضا، فليس لهم أي دليل لإثبات أن المسيح موجود في السماء وأنه لا يزال حيا إلى هذه اللحظة. الآن العلماء يلجؤون إلى طرق أخرى ويلفون حول هذه القضية ببعض الادعاءات والأكاذيب ضد الجماعة وليس في ناحية هذه العقائد.